Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It is a Monday edition, a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios. Locations across the state of Florida, right there at Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check out the good folks at International Diamond Center. Appreciate you joining the program today. We'll have JC and we'll have Jeff Cardozo, the voice of Gator Baseball. We'll talk about the Gator players that were selected in the draft this weekend. JC, you're on the Titan No More Hotline. Yeah. What's going on? Big weekend this past weekend in sports.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, we had a nice week really too, and I got to say the last 3 weeks have really been better than typical because of this World Cup tournament, the Scottish Open getting going. Wimbledon was interesting up until I think we got to the finals. We had two Czech women playing for the women's title, a 21-year-old winning it. And then we had, of course, Sinner and Zverev yesterday. Sinner losing the first set, but then winning 3 in a row. He is, quite honestly, he is literally unbeatable if he doesn't dehydrate and wilt in heat, because that seems to be the only thing that takes him down. It's not the opposing player. Now, Zverev played very well yesterday. The first 2 sets went 13 games, and that was very competitive, and it was fun to watch. The thing is that Sinner without Alcaraz out there is somewhat uncontested, though, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to 3 out of 5 sets. You just can't there's just beating that guy 3 sets out of 5 is almost not, it's just not going to happen unless he has heat stroke, literally. That's what happened to him at the French Open. That's one of the reasons why I think Zverev won the French Open, but I mean, he deserves a lot of credit. He's played really great in these 2 Grand Slams. So that's going on. You know, football, college football is just merely less than 2 months away now. We have media days coming, QB. I mean, you know, I could go through it all, but there is the days just go right on by on the calendar, and we get closer each morning we wake up to kick off. So that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, it's a good week because you got the British Open cranking up this week. You got the Final Four in the World Cup. And, you know, if you're a ACC fan, you got ACC Media Days this week. So a lot going on. We had the Scottish Open this weekend. It was a really good golf tournament. Tom Kim at age 24 wins. It's been a while since he's won. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I do know that I had 2 golfers, I think in the top 5 or top 10 with Fitzpatrick and Bobby Mack.
Yes.
I'm sure Zach has that all broken down, but we'll have our Peachland Dental picks on Wednesday. First time Scotty Scheffler has not made a cut in forever. I think, 78 straight starts, something like that.
Yeah.
So pretty surprising.
I mean, it just shows you how great he's been and how consistent his game is. But it is surprising. There was really, I don't think, any conditions out there that would have kept him from winning. I mean, Tom Kim's winning score was 17 under. So that would lead you to believe the course was defenseless. So on a defenseless course, Scotty Scheffler usually just destroys that. And he just is having, I don't know, I guess he's human, right? There was another tournament called the ISCO Championship in Kentucky. That was the typical PGA.
That was great.
That was outstanding, with Taylor Pendrith and Stephen Fisk going into extra holes. Poor Lucas Glover, second week in a row, he loses it on the backside of the back 9, basically. He was in contention twice in the last 2 weeks in both tournaments. But this ISCO Championship was really under the radar, but outstanding in terms of the way it finished. So Lucas finished 5th, Silverman 3rd from Canada. Wise, this guy Wise, Aaron Wise from America, he was tied with Silverman. And then you had Taylor Pendrith and the American Stephen Fisk getting a win, and that basically gets him right up the leaderboard in the Charles Schwab standings, gets him right up in the race for the tour chair. I mean, it gets them everywhere. Just winning one time, and it's a very hard thing to do. But man, it really elevates your year and your career on this particular tour. It's been really dramatic because Tom Kim, as he was sitting there at the Scottish Open, winning for the first time in, as you say, quite some time, was extremely emotional in the scorers room. And it just, I think, goes to show you how this year has gone. It's very dramatic and emotional for many of these golfers. The way Shane Lowry collapsed at the snake pit, the way, or not the snake pit, but at the bear trap, and then you had the story of Bud Cauley coming back from a catastrophic accident that almost ended his career and life, coming back and winning for the first time on tour. We had a big winner last week at the John Deere Classic with Chris Goddard getting his third this season and really overcome with emotion because the John Deere Classic is where it all started for Chris Goddard, and nobody had heard of this guy. And then he wins the Scottish Open last year, and he's won 3 times on tour this year. So it's just been tremendous to watch these names come out of nowhere and become significant on this tour and become a factor each week when they play, because each week it seems like we get a new name or we get a new name that's close. And we had a first-time winner from Norway, this Kiefer guy or Reefer or whatever. I can't recall his name, but he won. I think we had Matt Fitzpatrick's brother in New Orleans at the Zurich literally just be put on the tour now by winning with his brother in a team format in Zurich, which counts just as good as winning it by yourself on tour. It's a 2-year exemption and so on and so forth, invites to the Masters and et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on, and it's changed his career. So it's just been a great year for these golfers that we don't talk about consistently because it's always about Rory or Scotty or somebody like that. But I love seeing these new names, and that Isco was great because it was really under the radar, but it counts just as much as winning on tour in any other event almost. So that was good to see.
Fisk won last fall at the Sanderson there at the Jackson Country Club in Mississippi. So Jason, we love golf, so we know how much this means to those guys because it gets them so much status on tour.
Yeah.
If you win a tournament just like the Isco, it's really no different than winning the Bay Hill. I mean,
oh, absolutely. I mean,
you get so much status.
You do. It's not a signature event, but it's just as good because it gets you security for your job for the rest of this year and for the next 2 years. It gets you the invites to the majors, gets you into the TPC. I mean, it just changes everything. And we've seen multiple golfers. Some names are escaping me right now, but I just listed a few that have really had their life change. And I like seeing that. That's what makes this tour the best in the world, because of the amount of talent that just comes out of the woodwork. And it's not always the same guy every week. And so that's what I really find attractive watching the PGA golf. And that's what else do we have in the summer? I mean, we're not big on auto racing. We're not big on tennis. Off-season football is kind of just, it's all hypothetical discussion. I know people enjoy it. So you get experts on here who follow it 365 days a year. And we will eventually get to it much more concentratedly, but I just love watching sports, right? So I mean, you and I are the same cloth. We're cut from the same cloth there. We'll watch anything if it's competitive and we like watching it. And I think the baseball season, even though you haven't watched much of that, I find it pretty interesting with Tampa Bay, the Miami Marlins, and teams that the Pirates are in it this year. There's been it's just been a nice season for some of these teams that we don't talk much about.
Yep. We got a text here on the Titan MR text line.
Okay.
It's from Leroy on Palm Coast. He says, a lot of fans caring too much what Billy and DJ are saying and doing. Who cares what they're doing? They're no longer associated with us. Agree.
No.
You won't hear me talk about that on this program.
No.
Josh from Wamama sent us this 2026 SEC QB rankings.
Okay.
Wants to know my thoughts. It's got the top, I guess, the 16 quarterbacks that they think are going to start. They have Aaron Philo at 14. I think Aaron Philo is a better quarterback than Kamario Taylor, who's at 6. I think he's better than Byron Brown, who's at 8. I don't even know who the hell Faison Brandon is at Tennessee at 9. I think he's better than him. So yeah, I don't know. This is from the SEC podcast. Again, I personally probably look at quarterback play different than other people. I don't get enamored with the measurables. That's what a lot of these silly ass rankings are, measurables of how big, how fast, what a guy looks like in his uniform. I don't really care.
I think it just gives people something to talk about. That's all.
To talk about. Yeah. There's no question. John says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, who would your starting quarterback be, Danny or Tebow? I will take Danny Werfel. And then Nat says, Jack is in the home run derby tonight. Is that tonight or tomorrow night? Home run derby tonight?
Home run is tonight. All-star game is tomorrow. Day off Wednesday. Then Thursday, right. There's one game, and then the rest of the league on Friday. Let's just remember that Tebow and Danny Werfel played under very different systems. And I don't think Werfel could have played in Urban's system, and I don't think Tebow could have played in Spurrier's system.
Very true.
So
that's my point.
Yeah, so let's just keep that in mind. But they were both Hall of Famers from the University of Florida, both won the Heisman in their own respective games. Teams with their teams and coaches, very different situation for all of them. But I understand why you would have, if you had to pick somebody and you were more into the traditional offense and the fun and gun and the way Spurrier ran things, you had to pick Danny Werfel. But if you're going to carry the ball all over the field and make the quarterback basically a running back in many cases, that would be Tebow. But yeah.
Well, the thing is I think Danny's the better quarterback. I think Tim was the better football player, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Gold and silver investors, find out what makes Gator-owned money metals different from other coin companies that often resort to high-pressure sales tactics, not at Money Metals. For more information, visit moneymetals.com. Give them a call at 1-800-800-1865. We got JC here, and then we'll have Jeff Cardozo talking Gator baseball. It seems like, and I'm going to ask Jeff this, seems like they're throwing more money at the baseball program.
Not a bad idea.
We will talk to him.
We'll
talk to him about this. All right, JC.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you follow this World Cup. I've watched a lot of games. Yeah. I think it's been great. I'll never watch another soccer game until probably next World Cup.
That's right. Me too. That's right.
From the favorites, these are the top 4 teams, correct?
I have to say they are.
4 favorites?
Absolutely, they are. And I go back to the statement made weeks ago. Favorites win this. Only 8 countries have won this, and the dogs just don't get through. Now, some folks are claiming conspiracy this, conspiracy that. We had Argentina and Belgium, 2 teams that were literally 10 minutes away from losing to big underdogs. So it could happen. It just hasn't happened. So until it happens, you got to always say that the favorites are going to, it's all chalk in this thing. And that's okay. I mean, listen, it's fun to watch. Everybody's into it. And you've got France and Spain tomorrow at 3:00. That's a mistake. That has to be at prime time. The reason they put it on at 3:00 is to make it in prime time in freaking Europe. Well, excuse us, but we're hosting the damn thing, okay? The people in Europe are going to stay up at 2 a.m. to watch it anyway if we put it in our prime time. That's when it should be. It should not be at 3:00 in the afternoon. I got a problem with the network on that deal, but it is at 3:00 regardless. So get over it, JC. I'm over it. And then the same thing happens on Wednesday. England and Argentina, 3:00. Why? So that the Brits at 8:00 can get tanked up all day and get ready for a primetime game. That's fine, but they're not hosting the damn thing. We are. The Olympics don't do it that way. So that's my gripe about the start times of the semifinals. They need to be in the evening in prime time. Who the hell's going to be at work watching this? Now, some people will, but not everybody has a TV, and not everybody's going to be focused for 2 hours off their job onto soccer. It's a mistake to play these games at 3:00, but that's the way the networks do it because they want that global reach in Europe. Whatever, that's fine, but we're the host of this thing. And as far as I'm concerned, the way it's gone and the way people have reacted to the way we've hosted these tournament games and the way these stadiums are full, they ought to play the damn World Cup here every 4 years. What do you think?
I agree with that.
What do you think, QB? I mean, do you think anybody is going to watch it if it's in South Africa? Or who the hell's going to travel to Qatar to watch the damn World Cup? Nobody. So let's just be honest about it and just have it here. Everybody loved coming. It was expensive, sure.
Well, my question is, again, this is probably a stupid question.
No.
Who hosted it 4 years ago?
Qatar.
Okay. Do they have anywhere near the facilities to host it like we do?
They have a lot of money, and they have a couple of good stadiums, but they don't have them across, 3 time zones, 3,000 miles, border to border, coast to coast. They don't have the diversity of the stadiums. They don't have any of that. Qatar's the size of Delaware. I mean, it's not even that. I don't even know if it's that big, for God's sakes. It probably is. But the point is that it's nowhere near the infrastructure or the venue excitement that we have in the United States. And honestly, nobody in China cares about the World Cup. So that's not going to have it. So, I guess they could do it in Japan, but nobody has the reach or the infrastructure that this country has, and the technology that was used to make the fields playable for these guys, all grass. I think the announcers, and I know for a fact the visitors and the people who have come from all over the world have spent a ton of money, and it's really boosted local economies. The network ratings are off the charts. It should be in America every 4 years if FIFA loves, and I know they love money. So, I mean, they have to think about it, right? I mean, when you're in the boardroom after this very successful tournament, you got to say to yourself, damn, we're not coming back here till when, right? I mean, we're going to wait 12 years to come back. I think they should come back at 4. I honestly like it. And but I like you, QB. I'm not going to watch soccer for another 4 years, probably.
Yeah, I saw where the New England Stadium, isn't that what they called it?
Yes.
The New England Stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
They've already torn that beautiful grass up to put the turf back down.
Yeah, Boston Stadium. Yeah, who was it? Was it George Kittle, some football player you mentioned that talked about that? About the field's conditions?
Say it again.
Did you say it was George Kittle or somebody who was complaining about the field conditions for some of the venues that don't have natural grass, but they do for soccer?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know why. I mean, I talked to Frank Frangie a couple of weeks ago about the new stadium in Jacksonville. They haven't decided what kind of playing surface they're going to put there.
Oh,
we talked about, how like in Arizona and in Oakland, not Oakland, but Las Vegas now, their natural grass is on like a thing that you slide out of the stadium to let it grow. And then on game day, you slide it in.
Yeah.
They don't have room to do that in Jacksonville. So he thinks they're going to put turf down.
Oh,
which sucks.
That's not good. I mean, you're going to spend $1.5 billion on a beautiful place like that and put a rug in there. I don't know. I guess that's just the way it's going to be. QB, what do you? Why is everybody on YouTube talking about Graham Mertz?
Because they're comparing him to Aaron Follow. I don't know.
They are. Yeah, they're
but whoever my dad says on here on YouTube says, I said on this show that whoever Warner is, was a better QB than Lagway. I don't know who Warner is. Maybe Warner. I never said that. You ever hear me say that, JC?
No, that's the first time you've mentioned that guy's name, whoever that is.
Yeah, I mean, he played in the Texas game, but I never said that.
Okay.
I thought Graham Mertz was a very good quarterback. I will tell you that. Again, he's more productive than a couple of the guys that were these 5-stars. So there you have it. All right. So JC,
Tanya Ron makes a good point.
British Open?
I'm sorry, beg your pardon?
I said, are you looking forward to the British Open?
I love the British Open. I love waking up. What I do sometimes, though, on the weekend is I'll record it and watch it in the daytime or in the evening. But it's kind of anticlimactic because I almost know what happens. But I do love it. This is the fourth and last major. I'm drawing a blank on who won it last year. I should know this just with the snap of my finger.
Scotty, yeah.
Okay, so I watched that.
Scotty Scheffler won it.
I think you're probably right. So, I am looking forward to that. And, I want to go one year, but then I think to myself, I don't know if I really want to go. But watching it is fun. It's just that when it's over at 2:00 or 3:00 in the afternoon here, it's the rest of the day. I always look forward to watching golf later in the day. I like that. I like it when tournaments are I like it. Yeah, I like it when tournaments are on the West Coast because I love night golf for us over here. That's the one time I like the Eastern time zone is when there's the U.S. Opens at Pebble Beach, right, or Torrey Pines. I like that. I like that. I don't know if I like it when it's all done at 2:30 in the afternoon or 3 o'clock. But recording it is the answer there. I've solved that puzzle. Just record it and go do stuff during the day and enjoy your weekend, and then watch it when your day is done. That's how I'm going to attack it, I think, QB.
All right. I was trying to get to some of these texts here on the Titan MR text line. Of course, this is one's from Larry in Arkansas. He wants to know who I think the quarterback's going to be. We get one of those every day. I think it will be Aaron Philo. Who do you think it's going to be, JC?
I can't argue one way or the other. I think it's going to be the guy who impresses them the most in August. But I think, you have to lean on Philo if you have to choose because that's Buster's guy, right? I mean, they know each other. So why wouldn't he be? I mean, somebody tell me why wouldn't. The only reason he wouldn't be, and I suppose, in my estimation, is if Tramel Jones on most of the reps he gets just dazzles the coaches. You don't, unless you announce who your starter is, you probably know in secret, but you're still going to leave it an open contest. But if Tramel Jones dazzles and displays some incredible accuracy and just does great things, I guess during his reps he'll have a shot at it. But yeah, if I had to bet, I'd take Philo right now. He's the favorite, I think.
Again, the most important thing out of the quarterback position is consistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a play here or there and then blow 12 straight plays. It's consistency.
Yeah.
And I think the average fan likes the splash plays more than they do like consistency. I'm totally opposite. And I can tell you coaches are the same way.
Yeah, I would.
You got to have trust in that guy.
Absolutely. You
All
do.
right. Michael says here on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Remember the guy that got a waiver for riding in a cart because of a disability? Wonder what happened to him. That was Casey Martin, who ended up being the golf coach. He was the golf coach at Oregon, I believe, when Wyndham Clark was there.
Okay.
I don't know if he's still coaching or not, but he did that for a while. He only had one leg.
Yeah. It was an amazing story. Well, I from then I don't know where he ended up or what's happened to him. I remember a pitcher named Jim Abbott who had a deformed right arm, excuse me, and he caught the ball with his left hand, put the glove in his right half arm, and then threw a pitch with his left arm. That was Jim Abbott, pitched for the Yankees and maybe a few other teams. So they can do it. They just have to battle through the handicap. We've been talking a lot about quarterbacks, it seems like here, just at least mentioning the two Florida quarterbacks, and then you named some other ones. This is a year and I mentioned this last week, but I'll say it again. I think it's worth repeating. The quarterbacks in college football this year this is a big year for quarterbacks in my mind. I mean, I didn't even mention Bear, what's his name at BYU and a couple others. But you look at some of these kids that are playing this year, and if you're going to pick a Heisman winner out of that list, you're going to have 10 to 15 guys that are live right now before the season starts. And I'm really interested to see how these quarterbacks from some who've transferred to new schools like Josh Hoover at Indiana and Darian Mensah, who went from Duke to Miami, perform. And then you have guys that are coming back for another year like Manning and CJ Carr and Jennings at SMU and Saying at Ohio State and Moore at Oregon and Chambliss at Mississippi. And I think we're going to have a great year of quarterback play this year. Well, I mean, that's what you would think based on last year's performances.
Yeah, Andy asked here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellow Law. The Gators are trying to sign 2 other 4- and 5-star QBs with Davin Davidson and true freshman Will Griffin. How can they keep everyone happy? Well, you can't. People are going to transfer.
That's right.
But you still want to sign them if you can. And it's different. I mean, you don't stack quarterbacks waiting their turn like you did back in the 90s and the 2000s. Now you're going to sign guys, they're going to transfer.
No, the Mac Jones
That will
story is
happen.
the Mac Jones story is not going to happen anymore. No one's sitting or Ty Simpson. I mean, both these guys got drafted in the first round and missed playing football for 2 years, literally, before they got on the field. Think about that. Mac
Well,
Jones.
Mac Jones was an interest. I don't know how many offers he would. I want to say the only big schools that offered him coming out of bowls was Kentucky, and then Alabama came in late and he flipped. So it wasn't like he had he wasn't a very highly regarded 5-star, but he was good. You know why he was good? Because he freaking executed.
Yeah,
execution is the key.
And the 49ers are happy with him because when the 49ers quarterback was out for 6 weeks in the past season, Mac Jones stepped in there and played his ass off and got hit in every game. And they kept him on the roster. He's a good quarterback. And so
he's a very good player.
And then Ty Simpson gets drafted in the first round by the Rams, which is surprising, but still he had 0 run support and a very bad offensive line at Alabama and still slung it around, won a road game at Georgia, had a good year for a kid that never really played much as he waited his turn. So those examples of quarterbacks, I think, are going by the wayside. Kids waiting their turn for 2.5 years or 2 years before they get on the field. That doesn't seem like it's going to happen anymore.
Well, you got to remember that position, only one guy can play.
Yeah, one guy can play. Now, there's going to be, and there's going to be a rule where I think we're going to see at some point, they're only going to allow one transfer for eligibility at some point. I don't know.
Right. But what I'm saying is there's some good players out there that don't get an opportunity at some point because of the numbers game due to that position.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so Braun71 says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, the majority of dopey fans think good QB play is running around and not being able to read a defense and make quick throws. Yeah, the whole running around thing has nothing to do with playing quarterback. Okay, there was a text here. Here's a text from Josh on the Titan MR text line. If we are starting a franchise, who are you taking in their current condition, Mahomes or Allen, and why?
Oh, geez.
Well, I think the world of Pat Mahomes. I mean, he's been to, 4 Super Bowls as a starter in like 7 or 8 years. However, he's coming off a torn ACL.
Yes.
So you probably lean Josh Allen due to their current condition.
That was the question. So I think you're right about the current condition being that. You never know how you're going to come back from a torn ACL. But I want to say Mahomes is, you say 4 Super Bowls. I want to say it's been maybe even one more than that. I don't know. But you're right about he's always playing for something, it seems like. And, he lost a couple too. So, kind of like Brady. Brady didn't win every Super Bowl he played in. So they just getting there is an amazing thing. But Josh Allen picked Joe Brady to stay in Buffalo for a reason. And you're going to see a lot of the same things you saw him do last year. What Buffalo has to do is figure out how to keep people out of the end zone. And so they'll score even with the limited players around Josh Allen. Got to remember, too, Josh Allen doesn't have an all-star, 5-star cast around him. I mean, he's got a good running back in James Cook, but God almighty, who's catching the ball for Josh Allen? Think about that.
Yeah. Yep. All right, JC, we got to get to Cardozo and talk a little Gator baseball.
Sounds good.
Have a good day. We'll see you on Wednesday.
You bet. Okay.
JC, join us on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp Castaway Hot Sauce. Hot sauce with real flavor, not just heat and vinegar. Built by Gators for Gators. Castaway Hot Sauce, available at select Publix. Quick timeout. Come back. We'll have the voice of Gator Baseball, Jeff Cardozo. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Schneider PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, Money Metals, Sensei Asian Bistro. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Domino's, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond, Advocare, and MGA&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother, Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football. Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Gainesville's best-kept secret is finally being revealed. Introducing Sensei Asian Bistro. Located in Celebration Point next to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, Sensei delivers a one-of-a-kind Japanese-French fusion experience that's as refined as it is unforgettable. Indulge in signature dishes like our smoked New York strip, Chilean sea bass, matcha curry, or the crave-worthy chunggang chili chicken. Pair it all with handcrafted cocktails, fresh crudo oysters, or our premium A5 Wagyu tataki. Sensei Asian Bistro. Make your reservation today.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Real estate attorney Michael Schneider, a class of 93 graduate of UF, can help you save thousands of dollars in real estate commissions by assisting you in selling your home or land by owner without a broker. Contact Michael today at 321-345-7870. Back to the Titan MR hotline. We're joined by the voice of Gator baseball, Jeff Cardozo. What's happening, my man?
Shaner, good morning. That time of year, but at least got some baseball going on to keep everybody talking.
Well, obviously, people are going to be excited tonight because I totally forgot about this, but we got the home run derby, and old Jack's going to be in it. And you're up near Philly right now trying to get into the ballpark.
Yeah, kind of crazy. The All-Star game was in Atlanta last year, so I actually took Austin up, my son. So we went to the game. And then just randomly, my fiance lives up here, and she's about 30 minutes from Philly. So just happens to be that obviously the All-Star game's there. But I started looking at the StubHubs of the world and the Vivid Seats and all that stuff. And the cheapest ticket last night was about $680. And I'm like, wow, for a home run derby, that's kind of crazy. So maybe we'll drive into Philly, see if they go down a little bit and go see Cags. But, his dad's throwing him the batting practice today, Jeff, and, he and I are pretty close too. But, yeah, Cags has his whole family coming. It's going to be a whole big scene. They were actually out. They were in Baltimore yesterday. The Kansas City they were playing the Baltimore, and they, after the game, stayed and he practiced throwing him batting practice, and Cags is hitting balls out of Camden Yards, having a good old time. So it'll be fun to see him. And obviously a lot of Gator fans know the impact of what he was able to do. And I'll never forget the 530-foot shot that he hit at home over the scoreboard against Jacksonville. He hit another one against Missouri that, almost got over their indoor facility. So he's got the pop. So if he can just hang with some of those big boys, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled this thing out.
Yeah. Tell me here, because I probably should know this. Don't they win X amount of dollars if they win the home run derby contest, or are they paid to go into the home run derby?
No, yeah, I think the winner now gets about $100,000. So
okay,
that'll be a nice little payday, and I'm sure he'll just turn it over to Pops for throwing him some good batting practice.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's talk about the draft that was this weekend. Anything surprise you for the Gator players?
Not really. I think maybe Yost getting drafted in the 5th round might be a little bit of a surprise, but I think everybody else, pretty much is where you thought that they would go. I mean, Sandifer had moments where you could tell that, yeah, this guy has got a chance to be a stud. And, it's unfortunate that Sandifer's kind of the guy that came in in the regional game against Troy and couldn't throw strikes, but I still think that was the right move for Sully to bring him in that spot. But Caden McDonald doesn't get drafted. Sorowick doesn't get drafted. So obviously that's a couple of bats that you're getting back right there. And then Shane, I think, what a lot of people don't think about is the high school stuff. And the draft has really changed now with NIL. It used to be a lot of high school guys getting drafted early, and at least you get to the point where they're going to get some kind of signing bonus that's going to make them want to go play professional baseball. But once you get past probably the 6th or 7th round and you look at the slot values and different things that are going on, I mean, you're only looking at probably $300,000 for players like that. So I think guys, when they get to that point, they'll get the call from a team and said, hey, would you take this? And they say, no, I'd rather come to school. I mean, look at the impact, even where Liam Peterson went in the 1st round. He was a guy out of high school that a lot of people wanted, but I think probably back then, 3 or 4 years ago, the bonus for him would have been right around $1 million. So he comes to school. You could say he had a decent career or not, but either way, they developed him enough to now make him the 19th pick overall, and his signing bonus is over $4 million. So coming to school now for a lot of kids playing in the SEC, getting to get on all these television shows and stations and different things, and your games on all the time. And, obviously the NIL impact has really changed the way the draft has gone.
Yeah. The kid, I text you during the season because all my buddies back in Mississippi talked about this kid, played at Jackson Prep. What a great player he was. I think he went in the 3rd round. What are the chances he shows up on campus?
Yeah, Kevin Roberts, he, it's the one high school signee that actually got drafted. The Gators have plenty more that are coming to campus now, which is huge. But I would think 3rd round is probably good enough to go play professionally. Now, especially, again, you look at the signing bonuses and, teams can manipulate things. So, like, just for those that don't really understand it, your slot value is just recommended on what that pick should be valued at. But teams have a whole pool of money. So sometimes teams will draft like a college senior and say, hey, we're only going to give you $200,000 even though your slot was $500,000. So that may save them $300,000 to now go get a high school kid and try to give him more money that way. So I think it's probably in that situation for Roberts that he would leave. So that would be the one guy that wouldn't come to campus. But, plenty more that are coming, like Brady Harris, who's been a stud for forever, a position guy. You've got Kevin Neal, another guy. You got a couple of stud pitchers that I thought, might have had the chance to get drafted. But I think really from day one, they said, hey, I want to go to school. I understand what the SEC can do for me. And, the Gators are going to get a couple of stud arms on campus as freshmen next year.
Andy's question on Facebook Live. Jeff, were you surprised Caden McDonald was not drafted, and how instrumental will he be for the Gators next season?
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't surprised. From a pitching standpoint, he doesn't wow you. I mean, he's probably like me, Shane, a guy that throws low 90s with a lot of movement and competes his ass off and can get people out. And for some reason, the majors don't care about stuff like that. They want the 97, 98 mile an hour guy. I mean, look at that. Liam Peterson, obviously, you're a stud because you've got 4 pitches. You throw 98, 99. He's touched 100. But, I mean, his postseason earned run average, Shane, was almost 10. Like, think about that. Like, for a team to say, hey, I'm going to go pick this guy when his postseason earned run average, that means any big game he's pitched in is almost 10. Like, it just shows you that the majors and the scouts and everybody else, the analytic guys, don't really care about metrics when it comes to, like, just numbers. And it's just, it's unfortunate, I think, for guys like that. But obviously it's good for the Gators because McDonald will now get to play the entire year batting, which we didn't see him till the last 5 or 6 weeks. So that's another just dual stud threat. that'll be in the lineup, and you can maybe work on him playing first base a little bit more so you don't have to strictly DH him. Obviously, getting Serwick back to play third is big. And, you've got a lot of dudes that now have played a lot of college baseball that should make Gator fans excited for next year.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the sport is, right, Jeff? You and I talk about this all the time. These scouts, they look at the measurables, how hard you throw, how far you throw, this, that, and the other. I always like to use the example, and I know most Gator fans hated this kid when he played at Mississippi State. I know his dad and his uncle very well. They were teammates of mine, Jake Mangum.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He had no measurables. But
Nope.
the dude is a baller and a competitor, and he's doing wonderful things for the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. So, yeah, give me the guy that goes and competes and finds ways to win ball games. BCS Gator on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Jeff, do you think Yost goes pro after being drafted, or do you see him coming back?
Yeah, I think 5th round, again, I think a lot of these teams now really have conversations with agents, advisors, kids, and they say, hey, if we take you here, are you going to sign? So a team probably said, hey, yeah, we can do this. And, for Yost to get picked that high, I think it was 5th round, 150th, somewhere in there, he probably leaves by getting picked there. And he showed at the very end of last year just the pop that he has. I mean, he goes from 2 homers as a freshman and starting 55 games to barely playing, Strayer getting hurt, and then being inserted in the lineup. And he was a huge part of that Gators run down the stretch. So, yeah, I think for him, he's got the pop. I love the swing. Defensively, I thought he was Florida's best outfielder out of any of them last year. So I think he's probably gone.
Jeff, Sully's got 2 new coaches coming in. Obviously, the pitching coach from Oregon State. We know they have a really good program. What surprised me is, and I know nothing about the coaches coming in from Oklahoma, but it seems like he's been there a while. They just won a national title. Did Sully have a relationship with this coach, or how'd we get him?
Yeah, I think all those guys know each other over the years, but Todd Butler's been 4 or 5 different SEC teams over the years now. He was actually at Alabama when I was playing, so 30 years ago almost now. So he's got a long past in college baseball. And I think, the strange part about that is I'm sure that Todd Butler had already said he wanted to come to Florida before they go on this national championship run because, obviously it's really hard to leave after that. And then the coach at Oklahoma, they just hired his son. So I'm sure that was a part of the process too. Todd saying, hey, yeah, I'll get out of there. I'll let your son come in and be assistant and, all that stuff. And again, I think arranged before Oklahoma goes on this run because you wouldn't think you'd leave after winning the national championship. But also, his son was a stud on the team at shortstop, and he's done now. So there's just not many ties there anymore. Even though he was a player there, I think it's certainly a good get for Sully. And yeah, you talk about just the impact now of And listen, I really liked Kevin Kopp. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought Kopp did a good job. I mean, look at what he did with Aiden King. I mean, he helped him be the SEC Pitcher of the Year. So you can't say that Kopp didn't know what the heck he was doing in part of that development process. So, but you've got a guy now that was a professional. You and I know Eric Thomas very well, and Eric got drafted out of college, and he went into the Seattle organization, and he was actually his pitching coach in the minors. So that's how long he's been, around. So,
wow.
And Eric was telling me, yeah, he calls everybody. He adds a Y to their name, so it'd be like Shaney or Jeffy, Ericy, that kind of stuff. So maybe a little like the old ball coach.
Ball coach, yeah.
To doing some stuff like that. So yeah, I think certainly some good gets, and I think for anybody that's a Gator baseball fan, you have to be really excited how the draft went because you get to retain a bunch of guys now, and certainly the guys that you might have expected to lose from a high school level are all getting to campus. So the roster is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun fall trying to figure out who's going to win jobs and make things happen.
Gallo Car Wash, locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on 13th Street, Wilson Road, they have opened in Jonesville and the city of Alachua. A few more minutes with Jeff Cardozo. All right, a text here from George on the Titan MR text line. Are the Gators putting more money towards NIL in baseball?
Yes, I would probably say it almost doubled from a year ago,
wow.
or at least 2 years ago. So yeah, so this year, and again, you have to be able to retain like a Brendan Lawson. I mean, you've got to make sure that Aiden King doesn't go somewhere else. And, I don't think that those guys were in jeopardy of losing, going to another team. But I think, also you have to, if you're Florida, say, hey, we'll give you a little bit more money, but I can guarantee you other teams offered more money. So that those guys made the decision to stay. Aiden King's parents are Gators all the way through and through. They're on the road all the time and, traveling around. So they love the program and being around it. And then, Lawson the same way. I mean, the Gators obviously gave him a chance from all the way up in Canada. And, I think that he's found a home that he really enjoys. His parents come down a couple of times from Canada in the season too. But yeah, you had to, and you obviously had to retain guys. And I think, Shane, there were people that criticized too. Well, why didn't Florida go get more out of the portal? Well, I mean, think about it. If you're going to go get somebody else, where are you going to play Caden McDonald? If you're going to go get somebody else, where are you going to play Ethan Serlick now for coming back? So you knew that you were probably going to get those guys back. You got Jaden Bastian coming back, who got hurt. He was a big portal get a couple of years ago. So I think you pretty much have every position pretty much locked down. I mean, you went out and got a second baseman too that's going to be a stud to replace Curlin. So they did enough with enough resources to be able to go out and put a really good team on the field next year.
All right, last text here on the Titan More text line from Gary. Gary wants to know, All-Star break, Jeff, who are your surprise teams in the Major League Baseball? Who do you have in the World Series?
Well, I think one of the biggest surprises, you got to give a shout out to the Marlins. I mean, those guys keep winning, and I'm a Braves fan, so it's kind of crazy what they're doing. I think it's been fun to watch Pittsburgh a little bit. A team that's so bad all the time, to be able to do what they're doing. And I guess maybe I was a little surprised with how hot the Braves got off to a good start, but they've come back to earth a little bit. They've had some injuries. Acuna's hurt again, and then the Phillies are probably going to come back and overtake the Braves for the National League East. But I think when it's all said and done, I was out in LA about 3 weeks ago, and you watch the Dodgers, and it's like 1 through 9 in that lineup are all-stars, and it's ridiculous. So I would assume the Dodgers will probably be there again, just from what that they can do. And then on the American League side, I don't know. Let's say it's the Rays this year. I feel like they have a team that is built for the postseason because of what they can do from a pitching standpoint. So that'd be fun, right? Go see the Rays in the World Series, see if they can win their first ever one. Make it a fun year.
Could you imagine if the Rays and the Marlins played the World Series?
Nobody in the stands.
The TV folks would not like that.
No.
We got a bunch of comments here. Jeff, are you getting ready to get a workout in behind you there?
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, it's my sister-in-law. They got a little gym down in their basement, so I might have to. I don't know though. I mean, look at that. I don't want to hurt myself and get even bigger and swole when I see you. So I don't know. We'll see.
That's right. Jeff, good stuff as always. Appreciate it. Have a good trip. Hopefully you get to the home run derby tonight, my man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That's Jeff Cardozo. He is the voice of Gator Baseball. Join us on the Titan More hotline. J&J Trucking asked here. He probably wanted me to ask Jeff this. I just saw it. He says, what about the QB for Kentucky? They got drafted last night. You think he will play college ball or go play baseball? Highly rated QB. Don't know. Should have asked him. My fault. I just saw that. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, or minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you. 7 days a week. Go check them out, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. I want to thank JC and Jeff Cardozo for joining us. Tomorrow's program, we'll have former Gator wide receiver Ricky the Rocket Natil. We'll talk about his career, played in the Super Bowl with the Broncos, also part of those 84-85 teams that we really need to get on the new walls of the new football stadium once it is renovated. That's going to do it for today, folks. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.